Good evening, everybody. Friday, the 21st of January 2022. Happy New Year from all of us at Barbers Arms. It's our first show, but it is not of the year. It is episode 78 coming up tonight. We've got a cracker. Gonna have a good catch up with Gaz in a short while, see what's been happening in the world of Gary. Not seen him for ages, and we're going to find out a little bit of news, what's happening in and around, and we can share some stories that have been happening in the new year. Around about 8. And we've gone up from Toni and Guy in Salisbury. George's got a great story about being the first employee for Toni and Guy just to cut men's hair. So that's going to be an interesting one around about 8:10. And then coming up at 8:45, we've got Tammy Reynolds. And Tammy's got a great story as well. 2 times winner of the Freelance Hairdresser of the Year. And she's also now branching out into more men's as well, all coming up tonight on episode 78 in conjunction with Wahl UK and the British Barbers Association. Without further ado, Happy New Year to my one and only Mr. Gary Machin.
Wow, thank you very much, Mr. Simon Short. Well, it's been sight for sore eyes, mate. I know I spoke to you before you went on your trip, and you've just passed your 61st birthday, so another birthday passed, another year gone, so it's nice to see you. I'm looking forward to catching up to you for a beer. How's your year been up to yet? And I think it's for all our fans as well. I don't know how long we keep saying this. I'm just about tailing it off now to clients. You know, you can imagine the patter every day. It's like a broken record almost. You have the same conversation with every client, don't you? But I'm just about stopping saying it, you know, Happy New Year and everything. So, but everybody,
there's still people we haven't seen. So I think I had a bit of it in America, which was really cold, by the way. But again, first trip traveling away for 2 years since COVID started. I mean, 2020 as America, then Middle East, and then I was lucky enough to get out to Spain for a few days, and then obviously COVID came. And then we've been grounded. And so to get out there, I had some global meetings. We went to a barber show as well. I went to a Major League Barber Show on the Sunday, then up to Sterling. Weather was freezing. I think you forget after, traveling over to Chicago 3 or 4 times a year, but you forget how cold the January is in Chicago. So it caught us a little bit of surprise. I was amazed though. And anybody who was watching from America, I was amazed how quiet America was in terms of the streets and things like that. I think, you know, COVID has really took a big hit there. And so many shops closed down in Chicago on Michigan Avenue, the Golden Mile. I mean, it's like Oxford Street, Regent Street, all in one. It's called the Magnificent Mile, but it weren't that magnificent. You know, Gaz, it was just a little bit of a weird experience being there and it being really quiet. It was a bit sad, really.
Do you know what? Obviously we've both got a lot of contacts over the water, and hi to all those guys watching and catching up. We've had that feedback ourselves. But I mean, love Chicago, and I was there when it was very. I mean, it's like we've lost 2 years, isn't it? I feel like we weren't there that long ago. Was it 2019, 18, 19, something like that? When I met you out there. And, it was cold then, but, and I've been a few times when it's been -20 and something. They had that really cold snap over there. I think it was 17, something like that when I was there. You can't quite believe how cold it gets, really. But that's a shame about, about places closing down, because it's a fantastic place, as you've said.
I think like any place, it's just the general kind of economies drove back. And even the restaurants and bars that were open, rules are a little bit different. You've got to show your vaccine passes, whether you're a citizen or not. Vaccine passes before you went into nearly every building. Then for us, obviously, as well, vaccine passes passed in with your passport as well, or your photo ID. So maybe that's put people off as well. It's cold. It's I think it was just accumulation of everything, really. But great to be back. Great to see people. Went back up to HQ, which was great to see everybody. And it's like when you're back in there, it's like you've never been away. But now there, I took things in a lot more, because I think this trip I was like looking at thinking, take it in, because it's 2 years and you never know if it's going to happen again. We never knew first time round, so I think any trip that you do get, kind of like want to take it in. But yeah, look, we've done it. We're in. It's been a busy week this week. We've been doing Project Men stuff this week as well for the fellowship, which went really well, which we've got a couple of these guys on tonight as well who are on Project Men. What are you drinking tonight, guys?
Well, I've gone on a bit of a cider fest. I had a few last night. I was on Doomball last night, so I've gone on the old faithful, some Thatcher's Gold, which I quite like as a change. That's a Somerset cider. And I've got some Copperberg as well. So I'm on the strawberry. This is Rachel's favourite. I've raided her stash. Just, when you get home from work and you just fancy the change. I mean, bitter doesn't travel very well anyway, but I thought, I've raided Rachel's stash of cider tonight. So I'm on a bit of a cider fest. What are you on?
I'm on, it's a new drink actually. Everybody knows I like a Desperado from time to time, but this is a Desperado Mojito.
Oh.
And it does taste just like a mojito as well. So it's nice, a little bit refreshing. It's cold here in Yorkshire. I don't know about where you are, guys, in Stoke-on-Trent, mate, but it is a bit cold up here in the north.
Yeah, I'm sitting here tonight. We got the heating on. I'm not one of them that likes it particularly too hot in the house, but I came home tonight and it's cold. And Rachel's wrapped in a blanket, and I said, "What's up with you?" She says, "I just can't get warm today." She's been to work, and we've had a lot of training meetings today, and so she's coming, and she thinks it's winter again. I think I don't know. It's because it's been quite warm this last week. It's been very mild. It was really sunny yesterday, but today's gone really, really cold. I don't know for what reason, but. It's just one of those things. We had a really good frost yesterday morning. It was white over yesterday. That scraped the cars and to go to work and everything. So it is coming in. So it is January though. We should expect it, shouldn't we? It isn't as cold as Chicago, but it is cold. Yeah,
look, and a lot of everybody's joining us in already. Matt Walters, Janine Bush, Aisha, Matt Walters. Everybody who normally joins us in as well, I'm sure. We've put it out there, obviously we're on this Friday. We've got some other shows coming up on the 28th, the 11th and the 18th of Feb. So 28th of Jan, we've got Emma Simmons on and Nieves Almeras from America. And then we've got different guests coming out. We've got Michael Levine coming in from Canada as well, coming up, and Janine as well, who is watching. Leanne Jones as well is just joining us. So I think all of these who are just joining us, and some of these are for the first time. I think some of these are from Project Men, who are on my little project through the fellowship. Great day yesterday, Gary, up in Barnsley, the hometown of Moi, but also the hometown. It's great to be. We had 12, 13 people in there, and we used Brooklands Hotel. But it's nice that they're all coming in from Brighton, Hastings, South Wales, Nottingham, Thirsk. There were people from Lincolnshire, people from Scotland. But I started off by saying, welcome to Barnsley, and also welcome to the hometown of the British Hairdresser of the Year, Rob Eaton. And I'm still so proud of that when you talk about Barnsley, that it is the hometown of the British Hairdresser of the Year. It seems surreal, but it was a great day yesterday. I'm sure the guys all enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I saw Reese on there. I know Reese is watching and he follows us quite regularly.
Top draw.
He did some work for you yesterday, didn't he?
Absolutely fantastic. I said to everybody, and I think anybody who's watching as well, if you've got salons, I think one of the hardest things in the world is selecting people. The easy job is when you deselect somebody. Somebody's not good enough, you've tried them and you get rid of them. It's not easy, but it's not brain surgery. Selecting people is the hardest job in the world, to select the right people. And, the selection of getting him to be the Barber of the Year, wow, I watched him yesterday. So articulate, so prepared, so organised. If anybody wants to speak to this guy how to win Barber of the Year, he were telling everybody yesterday, he researched every single person that was in the final, trying to work out what cuts they'd done, trying to look at how he could come in different, watching what they were wearing, how he were going to wear stuff. Superb, Reese, if you're watching as well, you were absolutely fantastic yesterday. And his haircut was out of the water as well, fantastic. So fair play to him. I know you guys, you were on the judging for that. I know you were there when he won it.
Yeah.
Absolutely superb. Really good.
He was much deserved. He shone, and I mean, it was hard judging, but I think the right decision was made. But as you've just said, it's not just about the cut; it's everything else that goes with it. And when you put him in front of people like that, it representing the company as well, and you've made the right choice. It's even more the sweeter, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, even though he's cut on stage and you looked at him and you've met him, still putting him in front of people, and the reputation as well. It's hard, isn't it? You still do have that squeaky bum moment until you've worked with them a few times. That what's.
Of course you get it, and sometimes people can come after the won it. They do all the right things, and then you see them for the first time outside of that, and you try and work with them and develop them. You look at it and you think maybe can't take them to the next level. But with this guy yesterday, he had a great start to doing what he's done. He's so eager to get in there and do it. So it's not just about winning it. It's when you've won it, what can you do to the next level as well? So well done, lad. Very good job travelling over as well. So good job. Gaz, what's been happening in your world? You've been really busy at Rogers, haven't you?
Oh, I mean, we've had great run up to Christmas. Really busy. But since Christmas, we've been even busier, which it's quite unbelievable. But we've had half the staff off as well with this self-isolation stuff. Oh, I could have ran off. I mean, I'd have loved come to the States with you. And as I said to you before, we just had so many members of staff off all at the same time as well. I haven't had a day off since. I'm not getting the violin out or anything. It comes part and parcel with having a business. But you can't. You just think to yourself, what have I done? Swapping, people's columns over, covering, moving staff around. It's just been like chasing my arse all this year. He's got to get better. That's all I can say. We're all calmed down. We're fully staffed again now this week. This coming Monday, we're fully staffed again. But it's going to be hard. They're on about getting rid of all restrictions in March, I think, did they say, or something like that. But
well, I think from next Tuesday, Wednesday, is it Wednesday or Thursday, 26th? That I mean, I think most of them are being relaxed now. But from March, yeah, it's going to be normality. So we need to hit the ground running. But I still think being cautious. Whoever wants to carry on being cautious, certainly in certain areas in America, everything with masks. It's mandatory. It's not like I'm exempt when I'm not. It's like if you're going to go on a tube, public transport, it's lawful to wear. You've got to wear a mask. You will be challenged by police. And you can't. I'm exempt, and people just walk away politely. Not in America. All right, prove it.
Yeah,
it's got a certificate that you don't wear a mask.
Do you know what? I think the mask thing might be a bit premature. I think we're going to probably go with it a bit longer, only because, I mean, we obviously with barbershops, we've got a lot of young staff. A lot of young staff are still going out. New Year's Eve. I mean, one example, one of the lads went to projects in Manchester on New Year's Eve. He took 12 mates with him. And he took 12 mates. He took 12 mates with him, and all 12 of them were positive by the new year. It was just ridiculous. So
straw fire. I heard lots of people New Year's Eve, where I think people let their head on a bit, and you're in a pub, and it's hot, it's warm, and it's all. Guys, your video's gone off at the minute. Just while waiting for Gaz to get his video back, we've got George Smith coming into Barbers' Arms at the minute. Looking forward to interviewing George from Toni and Guy. We've had a few Toni and Guy people on Barbers' Arms, but George is an up-and-coming star. He's got some big shoes to follow in his dad's footsteps as well, Phil Smith. We're going to talk all about nepotism and working with family and all of that coming up. But don't forget to follow us on our Instagram, Simon Shaw Wahl. Gaz is the British Barber, Barbers_Arms. Them's our Instagram accounts. If you want to go on our website to look at any of the past 77 episodes, and then the podcasts are on there as well. That is thebarbersarms.co.uk. And if you want to email us, it's barbersarms@thebritishbarber.com. So, without further ado, Gaz, we're going to get a young lad on who is making history, actually, at Toni and Guy, because he's the first member of staff in the empire that is Toni and Guy just to do men's hair. So, it's going to be very interesting. So I think he's just joining us in the car park now. So without further ado, joining us from Toni and Guy, the one and only Mr. George Smith.
Hello.
Hello.
Have you got me?
Oh, we're there. You're there. Oh, you was in your office and now you're in the bar.
I was in my office. I'm in the pub. I just ran to the pub.
That's it. We're in. He said to me, he left a message the other day. We were looking at venues because obviously Wahl were still on shutdown for outside visitors. And I think George sent a message saying, before you decide on a venue, let's make it chaotic and go to somewhere like Dublin. I don't know what you expected me to do in Dublin, but
well,
yeah.
How
we do anyway. Happy New Year.
And yourself. All good?
Very well, mate. How are you, George? How's work going with you?
Yeah, all good. It's January expected to be a little bit slower, but it's been busy, which is always good. Shows we're doing something right. But yeah, it's had a good Christmas in the end, great New Year, and now just looking forward to starting this year with a bang. And so far, it's been pretty good.
Just for our viewers, George, can you give us a quick bio of yourself? I know you're only a young man, but you've done some stuff already.
Yeah.
Just tell us, for all our viewers out there who don't know you, where you're from, where you work, and just like I say, 2-minute bio on who you are and what you are.
Yeah, no worries. So 24 years old, from a small town called Salisbury. Started off in the industry just under 4 years ago. Did a Toni Guy barbering course up at the London Academy. And came back from that, started progressing in the salon. My aim was to sort of up my client rate and hopefully get a good retention on them. So far that's worked, and literally kept on going and started doing other things like Project Men. So I did last year's Project Men with Jonathan Andrews, now on this year's with Simon. So buzzing to get that underway. Done a couple of photo shoots. Entered British last year. Unfortunately, that wasn't my year. But again, looking to go strong in it this year. But yeah, just really enjoy the craft. Really enjoy barbering. It's definitely for me, and I didn't think it would be for me, but it 100% definitely is. I've found my passion at last, which is great.
George, we have to let's look at the elephant in the room here. And I don't mean Gaz. Let's just talk about, obviously, we're having a Budweiser. You know what Budweiser stands for? Because you deserve what every individual should enjoy regular. You've got some big footsteps to following. Your daddy's Phil Smith, who's a stalwart at Toni and Guy. I'm sure most of the people who have followed Toni the last 30 years know your dad. That must be tough, coming into Toni and Guy with the surname of Smith, but your dad being Phil Smith as well.
You know what?
How'd that work? How's it work? Tell us the dynamics.
Well, I started off. I left school and I said to myself, look, I don't want to jump in that shadow because it is a very big shadow. And I started off selling cars actually, and that definitely wasn't for me after about 2 years doing that. And it was my mum that said, look, just try it, just give hairdressing a go. And so I did. But yeah, I mean, going back to that shadow, it's huge. It is hard to sort of work beyond that and try and be my own person. On the flip side, it's almost like a massive advantage. If you use it wisely, and you use the contacts and everything for the good, it pays off tenfold. And I sort of, you referred to me at the beginning as a young man, and it's sort of, I feel like I'm doing what I should have been doing, in 5-6 years time, but I'm doing it now. And for the sole reason of my parents being where they are and how they've helped me get here, basically. So I'm hugely grateful for it.
It's like interviewing Phil, Gary, 30 years ago.
Do you know what, though? I think we've all had it's all about taking the opportunities as well, isn't it? And Simon will back me on this. Whatever leverage or whatever, you can do to, to speed up that journey, if you like. But you know, you've got to take the opportunities at the same time as well and make the most of them. You know, Simon's had mentors and important people in his life, and I have the same. So it's very important to recognise the times and savor them at the same time, you know, as well. But not only that, but take hold of the responsibility and the opportunities as well. So I'm glad you've done that. It's very good. Just coming back, you know, Simon picked up on this on your introduction. Is it true that you're the only sole barber in Toni Guy then?
I would I can't say it as a fact, but I'd say there's a bloody good chance that I am. The typical Toni Guy way is you learn male and female hair. You go in then up to the academy in Nevada. It's their sort of additional training. It's what makes Toni Guy what Toni Guy is all about. I chose to sort of sidestep that, and again, the only reason I could and get away with it really is because I can work here in the salon and just choose to cut men's hair. So the whole men's hairdresser has sort of moved on from me to an actual barber. So working with clippers, I consider myself a barber, simple as that.
So working in the Toni Guy dynasty, and it's a massive empire, and I think anybody would who watch it has always like watched Toni Guy, the awards that they've won over the years, the fantastic empire that's been built there. And obviously, as a young lad growing up with your family, you've been very involved and watched your dad and your mum work in that business as well. I know your dad's now got Smiths of England. So if I ask you a question, because we love doing this on Barbers Arms, so we like people to be nice and honest, and you missed a great day. George unfortunately got waylaid yesterday on the road up to Barnsley.
Oh God, what a day.
You missed it, mate. It was absolutely amazing. We got started about 9:30, 10.
Yeah.
And they didn't leave till about 5:30. It was such
really, good.
One of the girls said they did more yesterday than they did whole of last year.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
It was
a lot of organising it.
It was full of energy. We had different guest presenters coming in through the day. We're obviously in the hometown of me and Robbie and the British Hairdresser of the Year. So it's an amazing 24 hours. But obviously we're on now to St Albans in February, so I'm hoping that you get well organised for that and you work.
100%.
I think the girls picked up. We got some nice free gifts yesterday, so I think one of the.
I've seen all the pictures. I've seen all the videos. I'm incredibly gutted, incredibly jealous of everyone that did go. It looked amazing, mate.
It was a good day. But let me ask you this question: you're working at Toni Guy, which is a lot of people would be envious of doing that anyway. But if I said to you, as a men's hairdresser, as a barber, working within Toni Guy, if you could have one opportunity to work for another barber shop in the UK, who would you like to go work for?
God, that's such a tough question. Because as we all know, there's so many incredible barbershops out there now that are focused to doing the one thing, which is just great men's hair. I think you have to sort of split it up in two categories. I'd say your traditional barbers, so you're looking, predominantly clipper work. For that, I would have to say something, sort of almost sticking to the big brand in a way, but would be something like Men's Fire. I was fortunate enough to do a charity football game with Josh LaMonica, and I forever watch his videos, his stories that he puts up. The clipper work there looks phenomenal. Side to that, I do like what A-Star Barber does. I mean, who doesn't? You see his stories. He's having a kick around in Tammy Abraham's back garden after he does his haircut. And you look at his clipper work and it's just extraordinary. So to work in a shop like that, I really think it would push my clipper level from here through the roof. In the sense of men's hairdresser, which is where I've sort of come from, I'd have to say something like, I quite like Joe & Co in Soho. Now, Joe Mills does an awful lot as well, and he's got some awesome guys working in his shop. But that in Soho, you get such a variety of people. You get long hair and you get your short hair. So to progress as an all-rounder, I would probably say Joe and Co, because I don't know whether I'm getting someone with, you know, hair down to their shoulders or then a high skin fade. But just to have that variation, I think is so important in our jobs, so we don't actually just get bored doing the same haircut over and over again, really.
Yeah. I think that's, I think what you're getting at as well is having a really cross section of kind of clients. I think a lot of barber shops, a lot of companies, they set out their stall to be some sort of niche, don't they? They either, like A-Star, it's all about the clipper work. It's all about, the celebrityism. Whether you get, he's what? Sorry,
and his coffee.
And his coffee, of course, obviously. But, I think, if you're going after a niche market, then that's what you get. You do get a lot of, repetition. But I think if you're getting a regular clientele from 4 to 94, then your skills improve as well, don't they? But it's everybody to his own. We've been looking at you through that. Obviously, George, I don't know you. But I've been looking at your Instagram and stuff. And I noticed it's Lucky Smithy 26. What's that all about? Are you lucky or what's the Instagram name about?
You know what, that Instagram name I've had since, obviously way before Instagram was even developed, really. That name just come about from whatever was free online. I think it was for an Xbox subscription or something stupid like that. But for whatever reason, I've kept it with me. It's my eBay account name, it's everything. So to set it up on Instagram, it was just, it was obvious to do it. When I started training, I decided I wanted a dedicated hair page, and that hair page is actually George X Smith. So that's where all my haircuts and everything hair related goes to. Lucky Smithy is actually the sort of my still personal. It's like my personal life, everything that I do as well. So it's funny because I've got all my mates that follow me on Lucky Smith, whatever, and then I've got all the hairdresser guys that follow me on George X Smith. So I have to toss up between the two and answer messages and flip back and forth. But I quite like having that sort of separation. It's almost like when you just want to switch off sometimes. And I feel Instagram is so prominent in all of our lives in this industry. So sometimes it is quite nice just to actually go on something else and scroll your own passions, your other passions, your interests, and that's what Lucky Smithy is about, basically. But
well, that's cleared that one up. Thank you very much.
George's Instagram accounts are coming up on your screens now if you're watching at home now. Obviously, you guys can't see it live here, but George's Instagram account's coming up. If you want to follow George and see some of the stuff he's doing as well, his Instagram account is on there right now. Don't forget to follow us as well on our Instagram. Simon Shaw, Wahl, Gaz is the British Barber. Barbers_arms, there are our Instagram accounts if you want to watch any of the past episodes and the podcasts of all the 77 episodes that we've had. You can follow us on the barbersarms.co.uk, and if you want to email us, it is barbersarms@theBritishBarber. George, what's the goals then for 2022? Give me 3, top, middle, bottom. I want 1, 2, 3. You can start off with number 3, build yourself up to the big crescendo. What are the main 3 goals for 2022?
Okay, well, the bottom one, but still not the least important, it would definitely be just expand my knowledge, learn whatever you can, say yes to absolutely everything, and just keep developing, develop, just keep going. It's a Toni Guy saying, education, 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 from the great Tony Muscolo. So that sort of lived with me all the way through, and I'll forever keep educating or learning more, doing courses, and just absorbing the knowledge from the great people that I get to meet, like on Project Men, for example. Number 2, I really want to sort of do some work alongside other great names in the industry, which Project Men will allow me to do. But if I can do more as well in my own time, I've got a shoot coming up with Desmond Murray, who we all know is the BHA men's winner of year before last, or last year, I think, a year before last now. But So that's really exciting. So stuff like that where I can do stuff, just again, it just adds to the whole experience. I'll be able to take a lot from him, but keep doing things like that. I mean, that's my true passion. I love photo shoots, I love shows. So, you know, working in the salon is great. That's what funds all these things. But to do lots like that would be my number 2, I would say. And then the one on my top of the list at the minute, I'd love just to even finalize for men's PHAs. I mean, like I said, I was unfortunate enough not to get through last year, but again, still love the collection that I did. So I was happy either way. But this year, I'd love to be sat on one of those tables, waiting, hopefully, fingers crossed, waiting for my name to be called out. That would be my number 1 goal this year to achieve.
Excellent. Watching and tuning in as well. Put in the chat as well on Barbers Arms, what's everybody drinking tonight? I'm on a Desperado Mojito, which are just settling in now. They're just like bedding in, them guys. I've had 2. So they're just like knocking the edge off. What are you drinking, Gaz?
I'm on a Thatcher's. I'm on gold tonight, but I love that. I like the Hazy Jane one as well, but I'm just on just opening a Copperberg now. I've just gone on. We've just been talking, George. Gone on a bit of a cider fest tonight. Just fancied cider when I got in from work tonight, and I don't drink it all the time, but I'm a bitter man, really.
Yeah.
But
hey, George, if you're ever at an exhibition and Gaz is about, don't go for a drink with him, he'll ruin you. You're only 24. And if you're planning on working within that week period, don't drink with him because you've got to wipe the week out. I'll have a drink with Gaz when I know I've got like 4 days off in a row. Can't.
There's nothing to do.
After that, listen this, boys. So Alex Burt, one of the project men's from Brighton, he said to me, he said, "Oh, I'm staying down an extra night. I'm going to stay on for an extra night in Barnsley. What are you doing tomorrow night?" Which was Thursday, last night.
Yeah.
So I said, "I'm not sure what I'm doing." I said, "But I'll have a look." I had something on, but I changed it. I said to him halfway through the day yesterday, I said, your look's changed. But I said, we're not going anywhere fun. You'll come to my local pub tonight. And obviously there were a few barbers in there. Carl Smith were in there. I left him about 10:30. We had nothing to eat all day. We got in there about 6:30, 7 o'clock after we finished work. I left at 10:30 and I was like struggling to talk. He left there about 11:45. He got a taxi back to Brighton today. A train back to Brighton. And I found he didn't sound 100%. So what time did it finished? And he went, "Oh, yeah, I think we had another couple of drinks after you left." So I spoke to Carl. I went, "What time did you get him a taxi?" He went, "Oh, about 10 to 12. I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's ruined. The lad's ruined."
Brilliant. That's what it's all about, though. You've got to have fun doing these things. That's why we do it. And you know what? You work hard during the day, and then you play hard in the evening. That's what we do. It's good. You've got to have a laugh. It's important.
It's all form of networking, George, isn't it? That's all I blame it on. It goes on my expenses. It's entertaining future friends. That's what it is. It's
the easiest excuse, that.
Is that what you call it, Gaz?
Yeah, definitely. And if my lady says, and she knows me now by now, so she doesn't expect. She said when I go out now, she says, "See you in the morning." So she doesn't task anymore. So she's very good barmaid. She's fantastic.
You know, it says see you next Tuesday. Talking of that, do you know what? I didn't get drunk once in America.
You're kidding me.
No.
What's so with you?
I think the 2 years, the jet lag nailed me. So when I got there Friday, I said to Sam came and I said, "I'm just going to put my bag in the hotel room." And we went straight out to Gibson's, which is a fantastic restaurant in Chicago. And we just had a few beers. I got back and at like 8 o'clock at night, I can't even remember going to sleep. I just ate it. But we did have some, Trevor's just putting in the chat there. We did have some champagne one night in the Wit bar. It's on the 29th floor of this nice hotel. But I was just tired, jet lagged. I was in bed every night at 8:30.
It takes
Do you know one of the best nights I had in Chicago was with my good friend Brian, and we were in the Hilton on the front, the big Hilton. Yeah. They've got a bar in there, haven't they? Katie's, and it was an Irish bar that was bought from Ireland and actually built into the hotel. And we were put up in that hotel when we were working there, and it was one of the best, or a few best nights I've had in a long time. Brian will care to differ because he got in a mess a few times and at pudding bed and different things, but we won't talk.
With his hair.
He's what? Sorry.
What's he like in the morning with his hair? Because he's got like.
What do you think?
Women. He's got like a fucking asymmetric bad bob that's happening. Not the best looking.
He used to model for me as well, didn't we, on different shows? So I used to say to him, "Don't have your hair cut, don't have a shave." I used to shave him and cut his hair.
I heard he used to be a fantastic model for shoes.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy, isn't he? When he got a bit of a face on him, though, he does look like, "Hey, Johnny, out to the shining,"
Yeah.
Good guy.
George, we finish off on Barbers Arms for all our viewers to get a little bit of quick fire questions for our viewers, and just to get a little bit of an insight into you as well, which we're going to come up to you shortly. But I think you've got a fantastic year ahead, especially with the project that we're all guys are doing. I was so encouraged yesterday when I saw everybody work for the first time, the group connected. I felt like we'd already knew each other because of the Instagram groups. One of my big achievements this year is to make sure when we get to month 10 is that all of you are better, faster, stronger, media training, interview training, barbering, everything. I mean, yesterday, I think there was three or four haircuts that we did yesterday. And it was non-stop, but, I can't wait to get you underway with that and to get you in the fold as well.
Do it, mate.
We'll finish off with some quick fire questions. So are you ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's find a little bit about George Smith working down there at Toni Guy in Salisbury. So, George, what's your favourite food?
My favourite food has to be burger and chips. Easy.
Easy one. What's your favourite drink?
My favourite drink? I'd have to say a JD and Coke, actually, even though that's not what should be expected, but I can't get away from them.
What's your favourite music?
My favourite music? I'm sort of into a little bit of indie rock at the minute. Actually, I was listening. It was on the playlist on the way up to Barnsley, Simon, and randomly just on Spotify, and I was loving it. Wasn't skipping a single song. Bloody brilliant.
Well, I've got a little story about the music as well. So I had my playlist on yesterday. I always take music wherever we go. I think I drove a mad yesterday with Boyzone, Wham, Bee Gees. What else did we have on? They're all the 80s. So what I've nominated, each session, somebody has to do a playlist. So Scott's doing that for the next one. But if Indie Rock, we'll let you do the one for March. So that
I'll get some bangers on, don't you worry.
What's your favourite destination? Where's a place that you love to go on for a vacation?
Got to say, absolutely love Los Angeles. Fortunate enough to have been there with the family, but I just love everything about it. It's like when you step out the airport, it's just boom. It's like I'm home almost.
Amazing. And if you could choose to have a date, evening dinner with one person from past, you fetch them back for one night, or present people, who would you like to have who would be your ideal dinner date?
What are we talking? Are we talking, proper date, or am I just, trying to link up with people now?
You've got 3 or 4 hours with this one individual, so it could be from a romantic point of view, it could be just I just need to speak to this woman or this guy. It's just who would be your ideal dinner date?
God, it would be can I split the 3 hours up? Can I have an hour with
each? No, just one.
Romantically, it'd have to be someone like Michelle Keegan. I mean, come on, really?
You like uniforms then, do you, George?
You like Brassy?
You know what? She's just there's nothing wrong there, is there?
Nah.
I mean, you know.
Well, barring Mark Wright, but yeah, she's
Well, you know, Mark Wright's not too much of an issue, really, let's be honest.
Well, I think most women that come on here say that they'd like to have an ideal dinner date would be Mark Wright. So I think they're the couple that everybody wants to.
But they haven't met me yet, though, Simon. So.
Well, that's it. Obviously, no, we've got to wait for you to get in there.
Yeah,
George,
don't you worry.
on. We've got George Smith here from Toni and Guy. He's going to have a big year in front of him with Toni and Guy, all the things he wants to achieve in 2022, and also been a big part of our project man at the fellowship. George is having his favourite meal, which is burger and chips. He's having all this with his favourite drink, which is a JD and Coke. He's listening to some indie rock in the background, which is his favourite music, and he's doing all this in the fantastic city of Los Angeles. And he's doing all of this with his one and only Michelle Keegan. George Smith, Toni and Guy, it's been a pleasure to have you on Barbers Arms, mate.
Thank you very much.
I'll speak to you next week, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, perfect. Touch base with you
soon.
Cheers, guys.
George, it's been an absolute pleasure. Hopefully, I'll see you in March. You won't you won't get lost on the way to Stoke, I hope.
No, you know what? I'm never going to drive a car to one of these things again. I'm always going to take the train or walk because that'll be better.
Excellent. All right, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
See you later.
What a charming young man. He's certainly one that don't need so much. He don't need too much media training there. He came across really well, Gary.
Very, very confident. Speaks very well. Very nice accent. He's a nice lad, isn't he? So come on, you've got to let us out of misery. What did he do? Sat nav disaster, or the breakdown, or what?
Breakdown.
Oh God!
Can you imagine it? And you know what I'm like. So you can imagine my pressure on. He's sending me messages because everybody knows what I'm like. Anyway, everybody's there. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I can imagine him sat in his car, broke down, waiting for tow trucks and stuff, thinking, oh, I've got to let Simon know I can't do it. Oh my God. Can you imagine it?
Do you know what? I mean, it's never happened to me on a job, or you know, you're meeting a training company, or you're working for somebody, or you're doing a session for somebody, to actually not make it, I mean, is bad. I mean, luckily, he missed the session. He wasn't actually charging anybody for it. But can you imagine breaking down on the way to a job like that? You only learn as well, you know, even now at my age, I've learned things in the last 2 days. I've relied on other people doing certain things for me. And that's not there anymore for them to do that. And then I've not done things that, and you learn because you think, no, I ain't done that, and I need to get better at it. And you know, there's certain, from a tech point of view, I need to get better at. And so there's no point moaning about it. Do you know what though? You used to do everybody doing it for you though. You're a traveling roadshow on your own, aren't you?
That part of it, you know, going out, I don't need anybody to talk me, but when you there's certain things in the new era and the modern era, you know, things of technology and where you fill forms, the admin side of my stuff is not that like the best. And like George, he'll learn from not traveling the day before. For me, I always look at the 2-hour rule. If it's going to be more than an hour and a half, up to 2 hours, I will travel the day before, based on that I have had so many years of experience of potentially not being, you know, where you could hit traffic. So I always the night before for me, and George will learn that, and he'll make sure, I'm sure, on the next trip that he's going to be there the night before, which, you know, we've all done.
I'm exactly the same. I do the same thing. 2-hour rule. If it's within 2 hours travel, if it's anything other than that, then it's the night before kind of thing. Even when we do.
It's the condition we're presenting. So for me, I mean, literally, the one on, I came back from Kent on Wednesday. I got back into Yorkshire about 5:30. I went to the hotel. I dropped quite a lot of stuff. I've locked the room up that we were going to be working in. But the next morning, now my house is only like 3 minutes away from the hotel. But I was there at 7, ready to start at 10. It took me through. If I'd have travelled in the morning 2 hours and then had to do an hour and a half, 2 hours setting up, my day would have been completely different. I was so relaxed because I've done all the hard work. It was just the finishing, setting the room up and stuff. So look, they'll learn as they go on and they work through it.
Do you know what? I know we're just waiting for Tammy to log in. So we've just got 5 minutes. And just like to say, welcome and evening to Graham Grimshaw, Santiago Grimshaw, Mark Walters, all the Teddy's Green Rooms, they've actually on there as well. So thank you for all of you joining us for our first show back in 2022. Talking about getting there on time. I did a tour. It was the first time I went to California around there. I did something like 10 cities in 15, 16 days or something like that. I was going from Salt Lake City to Texas. Got on the plane. The snow started. I set my alarm for 5 o'clock in the morning. I think it was 5 o'clock in the morning. Got me there for the next day. It was only a couple of hours plane ride, but I mean, it's like buses over there. You know what it's like. I worked all day, got into bed, got up at 5 o'clock, got up, and it's absolutely snowing like Billy O. Gets to the airport, they're hosing the plane off with de-icer. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this thing's got to take off. Gets into Texas, and then from Texas straight away into another class at 10 o'clock. And I was absolutely, because obviously I was finishing that night then and traveling to somewhere else. Sometimes we do 2 days, sometimes we do 1 day, depending what the job was. But I have never shit myself so much in my life. 1, to get on this plane that was covered in ice, and 2, because I thought I was going to be late for my next gig in Texas. And I was like, never doing this again. All the timings were so tight. Brian nailing me again as usual, but everything was so tight, and it absolutely, emotionally, I was absolutely distraught after that trip. Did something like, I don't know, like 19 days away, and 10 cities. It absolutely crucified me. We one end of America to the other. It was ridiculous, but there you go. As long as the planning's in place, but things go wrong sometimes, don't they? So
absolutely, you can't help it. Well, I think coming up as well now, we have got a young lady who has she's done really well and come really under the radar. I met her last year when I was doing a photo shoot for the fellowship, and she was part of the team that was there last year. But she's had a great career so far, and it's come from a different source in terms of freelance as well. But the next guest that's going to join us on Barber's Arms is Tammy Reynolds, and Tammy has won the Freelance Hairdresser of the Year twice. She's the current holder of it, but also has won it in the past as well. She's a great kid as well. She's on the Project Men, and she's now residing out of Worcester. So without further ado, please welcome Tammy Reynolds for hair. Tammy, how are you?
Hey Simon, how you doing?
You'll get mixed up, Gaz, here with the accent. It goes from Brummie to Australian to I don't know wherever else.
New Zealand, New York, a little bit of everything.
Well, welcome Tammy to the Barber's Arms, and that
Thanks,
is definitely not a Worcestershire accent, is it? That so
absolutely not.
So what I'm going to do is we're going to give you 2 minutes to give your story to all our viewers and listeners out there who are watching us live, and then are going to pick it up over the weekend. Just give us 2 minutes of who you are and what you are then, Tammy.
Okay, well, I've been doing hair for 33 years now, and for 17 of those years, I actually lived overseas. So I lived in Sydney for 7 years. Then I moved to New Zealand and lived in Auckland for 5 years. And then I moved to New York and lived in New York for 5 years. And then I came back to England about 8 years ago and started working for myself. Like I'm a freelancer, self-employed. And then I just opened a salon in Worcester, which is a recent move for me. I've only moved here like a month ago, and just opened a salon within 6 days, something. We got it already. And yeah, and now I'm on Project Men again, and I was on Project Men last year, and I am lucky enough to be with Simon for this year.
What a story! Fantastic. Can I just say, you don't look as if you're old enough to be in the job 32 years. I mean, look at Simon.
Oh.
He's only been in the job 32 years, and look at the state of him. So you, that's
Probably 37 years now. Hey, listen though, yesterday, Gaz, I didn't compare at all. I did some work yesterday. I didn't just do all the organisation. I was cutting hair yesterday. And I think one of the guys there, Ian from Hastings, he was saying, I've seen you loads of times at exhibitions and I watch you on stage and everything, but it's the first time I've seen you cut hair, so thank you for that. They're all saying that Reese were better than me, but at least I did cut hair yesterday. I was on the tools, weren't I, Tam?
You did cut hair. You did an amazing job yesterday. It was a really good day.
So we go on. Sorry, Gary, you go.
I mean, I know Simon very well, obviously, and we're talking about Project Men again. We've got a bit of a Project Men show going on here tonight. Just for our viewers, am I right in saying that because of COVID and everything, all the same people are back on Project Men, is it? Or not? Is that wrong?
It's not all of the same people. There's a couple of us that are in again this year.
All right. Okay. Well, can you just tell us what pulled you to Project Men for one, and what was the process like going through to applying for that for people who want to get involved with this?
So it started for me probably about 18 months ago. I've been with the fellowship for a few years now, and I've heard about the projects, and I had some friends that were previously on projects, and listening to their experiences, I thought, well, this sounds really cool, and it's a lot about it's a lot of the stuff that I really like to do. Like, I like traveling around, and I like meeting people, and I like trying lots of different things. So in speaking to these couple of friends that had been on a project before, I thought, well, that just sounds perfect for me. It's what I like to do. And so I applied for Project Men. I trained in SMP about a year ago, which is a scalp micropigmentation. And so I was looking to expand my the male side of the business to incorporate the SMP. So Project Men seemed like a perfect fit for me. And so we spent last year on the team, and Jonathan Andrew was the mentor last year. And, due to COVID, there was things that, we didn't get to do, and I personally missed a couple of sessions. And then I saw that Simon was coming on board, and then I saw what Simon had planned for this year. And I thought, well, I just can't miss out. I can't miss out on doing that. That's it's a lifetime opportunity, and it's something that just doesn't come around every day. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to try again. I'm going to see if they'll let me in twice. And I was very lucky.
Very good. Fantastic. Well, I'm glad you.
Well, Gary. You'll meet all the project guys in March at the BBA Signature Shave Day. We're all coming up to your academy. And so most of them will come up the night before. So I hope you're going to Tammy, don't drink with him. But we'll have a few shandies night before. But you can ruin them all there. I'll have to back and watch them all then on the day, how they'll sit in and watch you do that. But what a day yesterday, by the way. It's a superb day. Great work ethic. I think we set on quite a lot of work yesterday. We tried to cram probably 2 days work into one. But it was superb. We actually, can you believe this, guys? I forgot even to do lunch. So we kind of just worked all day. And I think it was about 3 o'clock that one of the girls had gone to reception and ordered food in. The waiter were coming in and putting food in. I said, look, guys, I am so sorry. We just it was just a packed day. We had guest presenters coming in, John Pierce coming in, then we had Reese coming in, we were doing cuts. So you all did really, really well. And Tammy's one of them girls as well that not only is there to learn and that, but wherever she can throw her hand in as well to help out, it's really appreciated, like she did last year as well. Tammy, first of all, my question to you, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, I've watched your career, and especially this last 12 months, but then I've dealt back a little bit, and I've seen the awards that you've won. You've won quite a lot of awards, and especially, I think your two biggest accolades is the back-to-back Freelance Hairdresser of the Year award, which is, for what, that side of the industry, to win that's the biggest accolade you can get. Obviously, then stepping up and coming into the fellowship for different projects and stuff, and I know you're always doing education. And we've just heard George saying that the Toni Guy philosophy is education, education, education. So it's a bit of a rhetorical question, but what is the big motivation for you to keep going on training courses, to tell our viewers what do you find that, you do you, as you're doing one course and one training session, do you look for the next? Or is it, I need to learn this because I want to add this to my business? Or is it, I just want to learn as much as possible? What's the motivation? What's the ethos behind it?
I would probably say it's all of those things that you just mentioned. You know, hair in general and techniques and tools and things, it's ever changing. And, you know, there's such a high percentage of people that come out of their training and then never, ever do another course or learn anything new. From that point, I always want to be a better version of who I was yesterday. So rather than standing still and staying stagnant, I will sign up to stuff and I will do extra stuff. And I just think life is so short that I don't want to get to the end of my life and think, you know what, it's such a shame that I didn't do that. Or it's a shame that I didn't get a chance to do that. So I say yes to everything. And then I panic and worry about it later, how well I'm actually going to get that done. But I just keep saying yes to stuff because I just want to keep going. I want to keep trying new things, seeing new doors open, meeting new people, trying new opportunities. I just want to keep going. Just keep going.
I think that's you know, an ethos that will resonate with a lot of people. But what you've just brought up there as well, that, you know, people don't go into do any more education once they've done the training. You know, the thought of that, all of us are involved in education, aren't we, in a very big way. And the thought of that is like almost impossible to imagine. But there is professionals out there that do that. And unfortunately, we're in a very industry where we're all micro businesses, where we can get a bit it's quite lonely in a way if you don't get out there and meet any new people. So I think that's a great way of looking at life. Tammy, just before we carry on, and Simon, I know has got some questions for you. Where's the favourite place you've ever worked? I know you've travelled around the world, and obviously the type of person you are, I'm sure they are not the only countries you've been in either. Where's your favourite place to work? What drew you first of all, you know, down into the Southern Hemisphere, and what took you to New York, and which is your favourite?
Okay, so firstly, the favourite, this is always a very easy answer. And it's New Zealand, and it's because of the people that I work for in New Zealand. The New Zealand job is the best job that I ever had. And if I had to make a choice that I could only ever work in one place ever again, I would go back to them. It was two guys, and they treated us like we were family. And there were so many cool things about it. But in the 5 years that I worked there for 5 years, and it's the only place that I worked at while I was in New Zealand.
What's it called, Tammy?
At the time it was called Durham Hair, and the two guys, Tony Elwin and Neil Evans, and they're like dads to me. Like, I love them that much. And in the 5 years that I worked there, nobody left. Nobody left. Nobody went to work anywhere else. Nobody actually ever went to even interview anywhere else. They really took care of us. Like, we were more important to them. And, you know, there's that saying where, you know, when you take care of your staff will take care of the customers. That was their philosophy. And if you had to create a list of all the things that you ever wanted in a career or a job, and I'd never actually done that and it was basically after I left when I kind of made that list, but they ticked all of the boxes, those two guys. So that would be my favorite ever place that I ever worked. Moving to Australia, I was 23. You know, I was young, and I'd watched Neighbours, and I'd watched Home and Away, and thought, do you know what, it looks fabulous out there, so we're going to go. And, you know, I got there, and I arrived in the winter, and you wouldn't think that a winter in Sydney is that bad, but it is torrential rain, and it doesn't stop. So I thought I was going to go, and I was going to be spending months on the beach, and I was going to be down at Bondi, and how fabulous my life was going to be. And it just rained and rained, and I hated it when I first got there. But then after 3 months, you know, the season changed, the sun came out, everybody's super happy, the sun is shining, you spend your days down at Bondi Beach, going out for breakfast, lunch, treats, and, you know, it's a very social country or city, Sydney is. And I just stayed. I had all of the visas that I could possibly have. And in the end, I was there for 7 years, and we just decided to go to New Zealand after that.
Fantastic story, and what a career. So what drew you to Worcester then?
I ended up here.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Worcester.
Nice.
It's a very nice city, actually.
Nice city.
Yeah,
It's a lovely place. I've worked there myself. So what's the connection with Worcester then? Is it just somewhere you lay your hat, or is it just a stepping stone, or what is it?
Or is there love in Worcester?
You know, there's no love in Worcester. No, see, so I was living in New York, and I'd been away for 17 years, and my nan, she was in her 90s, and she was a hairstylist, and back in her day, and she had 2 hair salons, and she was one of the reasons why I went into hairdressing in the first place. Anyway, so she was old, and my sister had said, you know, Nan's, you know, she's not doing very well. If you were ever going to come home, now would be the time to do it. So I did. So I came home for family reasons, and I spent a few months with my nan, you know, before she sadly passed away. And my family is from the Midlands, and so I was just here. And then I started working, and then it just happened, and then it happened. And I've been living in Kidderminster for the last 5 years. And Kidderminster is a small town, and I just felt it was getting smaller and smaller, and so it was time for a city move. And Worcester was the closest city, so I've been able to keep my clients, and that is why I chose Worcester.
Good enough for anything. At least you had some quality months with Nan as well. So yeah, what a great decision. I'm glad you're here anyway, and it's great to have you on the arms.
Thank you.
It's brilliant, and what a great individual you are as well. Getting to know that, I think when I met you last year, your work ethic's fantastic, and you know, it's great to have you on project as well. I'm sure we're gonna have a fantastic year. What are you drinking?
I am drinking rosé cider.
Oh, you're nearly the same. I'm not far off. I'm on a cider fest tonight.
So
yeah,
we got British Hairdresser of the Year comment yesterday on the fellowship in Barnsley, Robbie Eaton, and then a past British Hairdresser of the Year from Barnsley, Andrew Barton, also said amazing that we were in Barnsley yesterday with the fellowship, so that was superb. Tammy, quick question: travelled quite a lot, hairdresser first and foremost, working in the fellowship. What is your perception at the minute? How do you rate British barbering, though? You're on Project Med. How do you rate British barbering at the minute?
When I was living in New York, I was very fortunate to work on New York Fashion Week, and we did some men's shows on New York Fashion Week. And at the time, this was a few years ago, that barbering was cool, but it wasn't the way that it is now. And so there were a few of those barbershops, you know, the old barbershops, you know, and they've got the white coats on, and it's a cool place to hang out. And there's a few of those places in New York, you know, so I got to spend some time there. And then I came back to England, and it was completely different here. Like, barbershops are so cool here. It's a cool place to hang out. It's a cool place to be. It's a cool place to be seen. There's some really cool barbershops here in Worcester. I've not really seen that anywhere else in the world. Any of those other countries where I've been to and where I've been living. British barbering, I feel, it's super cool, and people want to be there and they gravitate towards it, and it's a place where people want to hang out. So I think it's super cool, I would say.
Good. Sorry, guys.
Do you know what I think it is as well? It's had a bit of a renaissance in the last few years as well, hasn't it? You know,
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, it's cool to be a barber again at the moment. I'm sure that'll change. I'm sure that, I hope it doesn't. But we, you know, myself and Simon have been in the job, and you especially have been in the job a long time, you know, 37 years. And we've seen it come and go, and the swings and roundabouts. But I think one thing that I will say about barbering in the UK at the moment is everybody's kind of up the game. There is the spit and sawdust kind of places still. But I think everybody's tried to up the game, and I think rightly so. You know, there's no reason why we shouldn't. But also, I think people expect more now. Gents are more discerning, so it's made us change as well. You know, people don't put up anymore. They don't put up with mediocre anything. I don't think everything has to be instant, and everything has to be, you know, everybody's had to up the game and everything. And especially with the times we're living in at the moment, there's so much going on that it's forced us even more so. But I think you know, in the last few years, things have definitely changed for the better in British barbering as well. So, and I'm sure Simon will agree. You know, some of the guys we have on here, some of the barbershops we've visited, they're absolutely beautiful now. You know, we've always been the poor cousin to hairdressing, you know, in the past, but I think those times are changing as well. So, yeah, I think it's.
Sorry, I think it's not great that anybody ever gets overlooked. So, you know, I think it's a great thing now that barbershops are cool and barbers are able to, I wouldn't say level up, but not be passed over for anything. Because you can see, like in the awards now, there's always a men's category, whereas before there might not have been, or there might be barbershop of the year. But all of the awards seem to be doing that, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And also, I think that, you know, what you were saying with people expect more, the service level now in a barbershop it's just gone up. I think it's great. I think it's really great that things are changing, and things will still change, and it's all going to get better. And it's great to be along for the ride on Project Men. It's brilliant.
Tammy, where are you from originally?
Not far from Birmingham.
Where's home? What's the hometown?
A place called Aldbury, or near to Aldbury. It's actually called it's called Whitey. It's a very, very small. It's not even a village. It's a row of like 5 shops, but it's very close to Aldbury, about 6 miles from Birmingham.
Oh, okay. Tammy, one thing I want to ask you, I've just asked George the same question, but in third, second, and first, what's the goals for 2022?
We asked you the hard question, Simon. Third. Third. I want to. Okay, so Project Men. I want this to be an awesome year.
Is that your third?
So yeah, so that's so Project Men is one of my main focuses.
Yep.
2, because I've just recently opened the salon. I want to get this finished. I did it, like I said, I did it in a week. It's on, the salon's actually on 2 levels. So currently level 1 is finished. Level 2 is a work in progress. So I would like to finish level 2. And then probably my biggest goal is to get my SMP business, to get that up and running.
Well, we could probably.
I can help you.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Get some small. I might have a fringe for Christmas. But I've had a little bit done anyway. You can see it. Got it in there. But, you know, I'm a vain bastard.
I can help you.
Oh, I'm sure you can. Tammy, look, I think it's going to be a great year for everybody. You know, just listening to George there, we missed George yesterday, but when he gets into the group as well, the dynamics there. All of them are messaging on the fellowship project men WhatsApp saying, well done, Tammy. I've took a quick photograph while you were talking. They're all watching you tonight and they're all here as well. So that's really nice. And I think we're going to have a great year together. We're going to push
great team.
You know, yes, it was just an insight to we were like the day one. It's going to get harder, push people and to really develop. So hopefully if you're going to enter into things like hairdressing awards or going to do photo shoots, we're going to have a great year that's going to give you some insight. And obviously working with Gaz as well. You know, you're going to be working with Gary in March. He's probably the best shaver in the UK. I love watching him shave his work. You know, the way that he puts the signature shave with the BBA products is fantastic. So it's going to be great. We finish off with some quick fire questions. I'm going to change the ones that I've just done for George. So we're going to make them a bit easier for you. So we're not going to ask you who your ideal date is or favorite music is. Don't forget, at some point, you will have to do the playlist for the project day. So we've got Scott.
Oh, I don't have a problem.
You're going to be, well, we're going to let Scott do next month. And then for Gary's, we're going to let George do it. So it's going to, I think it's going to be indie rock. So I hope you get polished up in your indie rock, guys.
I don't mind.
So, Tammy, cats or dogs?
Dogs, every time.
Tea or coffee?
Tea, every time.
Night in or night out?
This is supposed to be quick fire. Oh, night out.
What at our age?
It depends what it is.
Speak for yourself, you, Mr.
Yo, I know you liking that. You'll be able to go out with Gary night before. If we go up to Stoke, I'm going to get you with Gaz. I'll be going to bed early to make sure I'm disciplined, but he's a machine. I want him to wreck you all up before we get there. Chinese or Indian?
Oh, Indian.
Food.
Indian. Okay. No, that was the assumption I made.
Well, I just had to do that really quickly. And old school or new school?
Oh, old school.
There we go. Thank you, Tammy. That gives us a little bit more insight into what you're doing. Hey, look, listen, I'm sure you got back safely yesterday and you can reflect on the day that you had, but what a great start to Project Men that you had. Really good. Enjoyed being with you. Great work ethic and you've got a great personality. So welcome to Barbers Arms. You've been part of the Barbers Arms family now, so don't forget to follow and watch each week because we've got some of the guests coming up. I know Janine's on, I think Emma's on next week or week after. So we've got people coming up all the way through the year. We'll be doing some media training with you guys on the project. But both you and George tonight, you didn't need much media training. You've done really well on the arms as well. I think that's because that's everybody nice and relaxed, but not as relaxed as what you will be when you're in Stoke with him. Now, I took Alex Burt last night to my local pub and we made him very relaxed. So can we say we'll need off you a recommendation for a local hotel for everybody where we're going to be, where we're going to work with you. And then we need you to take everybody out and show them a local pub so all the project guys can feel the experience the night before we do the shaving experience with you. So that's, you've got to organise that, Gaz.
No problem.
Right idea.
No problem at all.
Tammy, when he says it's no problem at all, trust me, it'll be no problem at all. He'll do it with pleasure and you will feel the pain. Tammy Reynolds, it's been fantastic to meet you in person again yesterday at Project Man. Thank you for coming on Barbers. Have an amazing weekend and we'll speak next week and I'll see you in a few weeks in St Albans.
Okay, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
Have a nice weekend.
You too. Bye, Gary.
Lovely to meet you, Tammy. See you in March.
You too. Okay, see you in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Nice, guys. Nice, two guests. Nice for our first show of the year to have some, nice and relaxed. Both spoke very well. It just shows you as well, doesn't it? I think sometimes people talk the talk. When you come to do like bits of media training now, you've got to sit in front of a camera. I do a seminar called Behind the Scenes. And Behind the Scenes is a virtual seminar, how to set up for a virtual seminar. So basically it works like this. Not only do I show them how, the seminar what you should do in your seminar, 2-minute intro about you, then talking about what's coming up on today's Zoom or class, then straight into how you're going to do the questions, how it's going to run straight into the cut, half an hour, 45 minutes tops, answering questions, finishing off, then leading into the next presentation, you're doing it. But behind the screens is you flip charts and everything like that. So I'm doing a bit of this with the project guys, but those two there, George and Tammy, no nerves, sat in front of the camera. Yeah, come on, bring it on.
Yeah. I think you know, from a point of view of being interviewed or you know, when there's no pressure really, I think it's we are a trade where it does shine. People do shine. We're natural show-offs in a way. If you want to be in education, I suppose you've got to have that bit of that push anyway. And the very and both ends of the spectrum. George, you know, been in the job 4 years, 5 years. Tammy's been in the job 33, 32 years or whatever. And it's about the passion, and it's about how or what they want out of the job as well. We can all trundle along and just tread water, can't we? But I think when you're quite when you're people like that, where you really push yourselves anyway, I think it naturally comes anyway, doesn't it? You know, I mean, you can polish certain attributes, you can polish certain skills, but I think you've got to be that person. You can't teach that, can you? You've got to be that type of person anyway.
You've got to be that person, and you know, there's some people that get it dead natural, but you know, I'm very lucky with some of the people I worked in, and Rick's just messaged me, Rick Roberts, and you know, Rick came up yesterday in conversation with a few people. Alex Burt was talking about it, and some people work really hard. I don't think they're natural presenters, but I think they've worked so hard and then they become natural. So when people say, oh, it's easy for you, you're just good at it. No, Rick Roberts is a great example of he's had to work his bollocks off to get to where he has.
Yeah.
Nobody's given him an handout. And look at the awards, like Hall of Fame now, Afro Hairdresser of the Year, Hall of Famer. You know, Zoe works really hard with him in the business. You know, nobody's given him out. And then he comes on stage and you've got to have the confidence. You've got to have a bit of a swag about you. But it's all about balls, I think, and thinking, right, I need to do this. And Tammy and George and a lot of the guys on Project Men, they know that they're not finished articles, but they're prepared to do what others aren't. And that's the difference. And tonight, that's the difference. They're prepared to do what other people aren't.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like we spoke to George. It's taking those, taking those opportunities, isn't it? We can all say, "Oh, we should have done that," or "Oh, I'd have loved to have done that," but you know, it's taking the opportunity, but also at the same time pushing yourself as well. So I think you know, there's from two very different sides of the story there, but they've got so much in common at the same time, haven't they? You know, I mean, but just look what you can achieve. I mean, she's traveled the world doing a job she loves, and then, you know, for whatever reason, ended up back in her hometown or near to her hometown. But she's had a great ride on the way, hasn't she? She's had a great journey, and you know, I hope that's all you can hope for is when you get to that stage where you're sitting in your armchair, you've got no regrets or very few regrets. That we can all say, "Oh, I wish I've," or "I should have done," or "It wasn't the right timing," or whatever. But it's about taking those opportunities with both hands and just pushing yourself that little bit more. So fantastic stories, both of them.
Coming up next week on the 28th of January, next Friday, we've got Emma Simmons, who is got some of the awards that she's won, and her photographs are fantastic, by the way. Emma's going to be on next week, and she's going to be showing us and telling us a little bit about. She's moving into more men's hairdressing as well, and potentially entering some British Hairdressing Awards on the men's side as well. So Emma's going to be with us next week, and we also have a massive superstar on Barbers Arms next week, joining us from Chicago in a place called Cesario, which is just outside Chicago. It's the birthplace of Al Capone, and it is the guy who owns the business called How to Fade. It's the one and only Nieves Almirez, and he's the winner of the NAHA Men's Hairdresser of the Year. The first barber in US history to win the Men's Hairdresser of the Year. So Nieves is going to be on next week with Emma. and that's all coming up on Barbers Arms. I'm going to pass over to Gaz, but I just want to say, look, you know, we've had, I think it's been a lot easier than what it was this time last year. This time last year, guys, we were in lockdown, and Christmas, we always knew it would come in. You London Southerners, you had it all. You know, you had it. You had the carpet whipped underneath your feet on the 18th, 19th of December, and then we were all in lockdown till the 12th of April. We're not there, but I still hear a few people moaning. I still hear a few people like, we've got to get on with it. And you know, some of the restrictions have been lifted again from next week or even now. And by March, we're hopefully, with vaccines and boosters and doing the right things, we're going to have a positive 2022. I think we're going to have to work harder than we ever have done. There's nobody going to be able to sit back and think, you know, it's just going to come to me. You're going to have to really put your foot on the gas where you are, and even just to move forward a little bit, it's going to be tough. But the restrictions are going to be different to what we have been in the last 2 years. None of us expected that this would be around for 2 years, and in some countries it's still about. But in the UK, whatever's happened with the parties at Downing Street, whether they knew they were at a party or not, me and Gaz know when we're having a drink. Me and Gaz know when we're at a party. It's a lot of bollocks. However, we're in a strong position where the vaccines have done well and people can move about a bit more freer. And you look around the globe and some of the countries aren't in fortunate positions. So let's take each day as it comes and think positive and have a fantastic start to 2022. Thanks to Barber Evo guys as well for the new show Times column. I'm sure you've all seen that. If you've all got the Barber Evo magazine, thank you to Andrew Brewster and David Foster. I love the column. It looks amazing in the magazine. And I wish you all a fantastic 2022. We'll see you next week on the 28th as well. Have a great weekend. I'll pass you over to Gaz, but can't wait for 2022. Let's have it.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Simon Shaw. Great show. Thank you, everybody who's contributed. Thanks for the chat. Please share wherever you can. And please, can we have more chat on there? We'll answer any questions we can online. We have got one eye on the feed at the same time. I'd just like to say belated, again, Happy New Year to everybody. I'm sure it's going to be the best year over the last two. We're back to normal in some respects. Be safe, though. Don't be silly. And have a great weekend. Love to you all. It's from me and Sam.
Guys.
Good night. Yeah! Good show, mate.